The proof of who God is to you and who you are in Him is in your practices, is when you leave. Because you know what? Most of y'all can behave for an hour on a Sunday morning, right? But it's a whole, what happens to in the other 267 hours of the week? It's a whole different story if your practice is not one of someone who is in Christ. I'm not talking about perfection, right? Perfection is not the expectation, although it should be the goal, right? We're supposed to be like Jesus. We're Christians. We're little Christs. We're little Jesuses. And so our goal should be perfection, realizing that there's grace and mercy and forgiveness when we fail, right? But so I'm not saying you got to be perfect. And if you sin when you leave here, if you cut someone off in traffic and let a word slip you're not supposed to, that doesn't mean that you're not saved anymore, right? But 1 John 5:18 gives us this uncomfortable truth. We know that God's children do not make a practice of sinning. For God's Son holds them securely, and the evil one cannot touch them. Man, that verse just has this weird combination of conviction and freedom in it. Because what he's saying is if you're a child of God, you don't make a practice of sinning. Yeah, you may sin every once in a while. Even the Apostle Paul says, sometimes I don't do what I need to do, and then I do stuff that I know I don't want to do, and I get it. You're not going to be perfect. But God's children do not make a practice of sinning. Sin should not define your life anymore. Why? Because God's Son holds you securely. To me, that's like, don't worry. I don't have to do this myself. God's Son is going to be holding me. And look at that. The evil one cannot touch them. You know what this means? That means that that evil only gains the ground that you surrender.